Dear grade 11 students, today we have a grammar lesson, module 10, page 145. Get your books ready. We have two objectives for today. The first is to use zero conditionals effectively, and the second is to use first conditionals correctly. So today you are going to learn about conditionals, but what's a conditional sentence? A conditional sentence is a sentence that we use to express cause and effect. To express cause and effect in a conditional clause, we use the word if. There are many types of conditionals: zero, first, second, and third. Today, we're going to learn how to use zero conditionals and first conditionals. The first type of conditionals we're going to learn about today is the zero conditionals. The formula is if or when, followed by simple present verb, then another simple present verb. For example, if or when you freeze water, it turns into ice, as in this example. Note that the verbs freeze and turns here are both in the simple present forms. When do we use zero conditionals? We use them to express general truths, like scientific facts, rules of games, things that are 100% true. Let's look at this example. If or when you heat ice, it melts. This is a scientific fact. That's why it's a zero conditional sentence. Let's look at another example here. Do you know this game? It's called tic-tac-toe, but you know it as XO. So what's the rules of this game? If you get 3 X's or 3 crosses in a row or 3 O's in a row, you win. So we say the rule, if you get 3 crosses in a row, you win. This is a rule of a game, that's why we use the zero conditional here. The verbs get and win are both in the present simple forms. Here are more zero conditional examples, but I will say the first part of the sentence, and I want you to guess the second part before it appears on the screen. Here are the examples. If you eat too much, what happens? Exactly, you gain weight. Second example, if or when ice melts, if ice melts, what happens? It becomes water, or it turns into water. Great. Let's look at the third example. If or when you throw a ball in the air, what happens? It falls back down. These are things that are generally true. That's why the three sentences are in the zero conditional. Now let's look at another type of conditional sentences, first conditionals. First conditionals are used to express something which is likely to happen in the future. In other words, conditions that have a real possibility of happening in the future. Unlike zero conditionals, we are not 100% sure, but there is a big chance that it will happen. Let's look at this example. This line represents time. This is the present. So this is the past, and this is the future. It's the beginning of the school year. You still have a whole year ahead of you to study and pass the test. So you need to study hard to pass the test. The two actions are in the future. So your teacher says, if you study hard, you will pass the test. Is there a chance for me to pass the test if I study hard? Yes. Can this happen? Of course. Does this mean my passing the test is 100% guaranteed? No, it's not. But passing the test is a very likely thing to happen. Let's look at another example. Our handball team are playing a match at 5 p.m. Now it's 4 p.m. So the match hasn't started yet. So they will play and they will hopefully win. So I say If the team play well, they will win. Now let's look at the structure of these two examples here. Can you now tell what the structure of a first conditional sentence is? Exactly. It's if followed by present simple, then will and base form. But this structure is not a fixed structure. Although will is the most common word we use in the first conditionals, we can sometimes replace it with other models. For example, in this sentence, if you study hard, you will pass the test. I can replace will with can to stress ability, or with may or might if I'm not quite sure. I can also say, if you want to pass the test, you should study hard. In this sentence, I want to give advice. Or I can say, if you want to pass the test, you must study hard to express obligation. Or I can simply use the imperative form of the verb, as in this example here. If you want to pass the test, study hard. Or, if you go out, wash your hands when you get home. Or the negative imperative, as in this sentence. If you go out, don't touch your face at all. Now let's read this sentence carefully. If you are not careful, you will have an accident. We can see that the verb after if is in the negative form. In this case, we can replace if and not with one word. This word is unless. So we can say, unless you are careful, you will have an accident. This means unless equals if not. Now open your student's book, page 145. Today you are going to answer only questions 1 to 4. Read the questions carefully. You can pause the video to answer the questions and come back to check your answers. Pause the video now. Welcome back. Sentences 1 and 2 both are zero conditionals. So these sentences refer to exactly something that is generally true. Are when and if interchangeable in sentences 1 and 2? Of course, they are interchangeable. But let's look at 3 and 4. Both are in the first conditional. So they both refer to something that is probable now or in the future. The word unless in sentence 4 means if not. Now exercise B. In this exercise, our task is to complete the rules for zero conditionals and first conditionals. Pause the video, answer the exercise, and come back to check your answers. So for zero conditional, the rule is if or when, present simple, and then present simple. For first conditionals, if followed by present simple, and then will, can, must, should, may, or might, plus base form. This is the end of our lesson today. For homework, please log on to your Teams Corner and do the homework and the quizzes assigned to you by your class teacher. Thank you for listening. Best wishes and stay safe.